Good day, beautiful people. My name is Jonathan Cabana, your real estate agent for the Greater Montreal. And today we're going to look at the stats for the month of September 2024 in regards to the real estate market in the Greater Montreal region. But before we dive into the bad, the beautiful, and the ugly, if you're ever wanting a ballpark figure of the price of your home, you're going to find a link in the description, whereas you can enter your information. I'm going to call you back to ask you a couple of questions. And trust me, I don't bite. And from there on, you're going to be able to get a ballpark figure of your house. Also, if you're you're looking to move, to sell, to relocate, or again to invest, all the informations are in my description. Give me a call so we can ask ourselves a couple of questions to see how I can possibly help. In the meantime, well, cue intro and see you on the other side. Okay, so like I said in the beginning, today we're going to look at the real estate market for the Greater Montreal for the period of September 2024. We're going to look at the sales of the condos, the plexes, the houses, how the market move, and we're going to ask ourselves, is it a good time to sell right now, considering all the information that we have? Also, like I always like to do at the end, well, we're going to look at the difference between for FSBOs, so for sale by owners, and what's sold with realtors. So you're going to be able to base yourself on facts, information, and see what project goes better with your desires and your needs. So let's dive in right now. So in the month of September 2024, for the greater region of Montreal, we had 1,195 sales, a 19% augmentation in comparison to last year for the same period. So as of right now, we have 9,211 listings is available on the region with an augmentation of 16%. When you look at the difference between one and the other, what we're seeing is that there's still more sales being done than the new listing feeding that beast. So meaning that in the long run, we would run out of houses to sell, which is going to push the houses upwards in terms of price. So we also have new inscription 2,682, an augmentation of 9% in comparison to last year. So more diving into it, what we're going to see is that single homes in comparison to the same period last year are worth $775,000, an augmentation of 5% in comparison to the same period last year. Condos went up by 4%, and Plexes again went up by 7%. We've been seeing a trend lately as Plexes continue to sell, which they are a real driving machine for the real estate market right now, because we see like a constant augmentation in those numbers and in those figures. So that is one good thing that we see right now. Then when we dive in a little bit deeper into the single homes that we have, what we actually see is that we do have an average of $775,000, an augmentation of 5%. We have 2,057 homes that are listed right now, a 9% augmentation in comparison to last year. And what we're seeing right now is we sold 338 homes, an augmentation of 34% in comparison to last year. This tells me what, as information, is that we are slowly but surely depleting the market value, the market of single homes. So people that don't buy right now will mostly, for the same type of product, because there's going to be a scarcity of products, pay a lot more in the near future. What we're seeing is also 72 days for the sales. So the average numbers of days it takes to sell a house, an augmentation of 13 days in comparison to last year. And what's always interesting is how the house sell. So in 100% of all the homes that sold, 3% went in overbidding, 27% were under asking price, and 70% was at the asking price. So we still see a strong average for a seller's market, because this is still, it's better, but it's still quite low in comparison as what we would need to see a shift in the market to become a buyer's market. So it's still a really, really good time to sell. Then when we go into condos, same thing here. So we had 664 sales, an augmentation of 14%. We have 5,587 listings as of today, an augmentation of 21%. This here tells me that there's more and more condos for sale. This could be explained, and let me take a second right here so I can actually also talk to you about something. This could be explained by the fact that the government and the banks are being, with reason, becoming a lot more strict on le fonds de prévoyance for condos, and also on the law 16 and law 141, so that there will be more condos for sale. But it is extremely important. Oh, there's something happening out here. So it's extremely important to make sure that when you do buy a condo, well, you have sufficient funds to cover everything needed. Okay, so let's dive back in. So we also saw that the average price, the median price, is $400,000, $62,000, an augmentation of 4%. Here, what we're also seeing is the time of sales is 69 days. So 3 days more than the last period from last year. But what we're seeing right now is it's still a lot more fast to sell a condo than to sell a house. And what we see here, the type of negotiation that we have right there, is that we have 81% of all the condos that sold at the price that was asked, 4% in overbidding, and 15% under the asking price. And again, here, what that tells us is we're still in a very, very strong selling market. Okay. Then when we go to Plexes, now Plexes, it's kind of a different beast because it's been really driving the real estate economy lately in the last couple of months. So we had 193 sales, an augmentation of 16% in comparison to last year. We have 1,567 listing as of right now, an augmentation of 7%. Again, what we do have here is we have more sales than new listing coming on the market, creating this unbalance and pushing the prices upwards for the same product that you would get today. The median price is $845,000, an augmentation of 7%. And what we see here in the last months is that it's driving up. You did have this small step back in August, but you're still like constantly augmenting the volume and the prices of the Plexes. So we're talking about 76 days of sales in general, so an augmentation of 2 days. And here, so what we're seeing is, again, 4% that sold over asking price, so in overbidding, 71% asked at the price, and 25% under the price. We see here that we're still strongly in a seller's market because we still have fewer inventory because there's more sales than there are actually Plexes coming in on the market. So with time, what we would see would be a depletion of the Plex if that doesn't change. And then we look at a summary of everything together. So as we said, there were 1,195 houses that sold. There's 9,211 total listing, and new inscription 2,682 for that month. We had 338 sales of single homes, 664 sales of condos, 193 sales of Plexes. This is the amount of listings that we have per category. And again, we have the median price for each, so $775,000 for houses, $462,000 for condos, and $845,000 for Plexes. And when we're looking at the difference between last year and today, well, that gives us a good average price that without changing a nail in your house, it does take value over time. And we see that there's a little bit of augmentation in the numbers of days it takes to sell a property, all right? So this being said, at the end of this situation, what I always like to do is compare, because we have again 2 major ways of selling houses in Quebec. The first way is with a realtor, so being represented by him, and the other way is by yourself, so a FSBO, for sale by owner. And the major leading marketing company that does that is Du Proprio. And we are able month after month to look at the difference between what's sold and with who, and then ourselves do a rule of 3 and get the average price of the market dominating for sales each month. So when you're looking at the market that got sold by FSBO, and being Du Proprio being the major marketing company for that purpose, what we see on the 3rd of October, going back 30 days in Montreal, what got sold, what we see is that we only have 18 listings that got sold on that platform, okay? This tells us that in the last 30 days, 18 homes got sold, all type of homes, okay? Now what we do have is we know that with Centris, we had over 1,192 homes that sold. And when we do a rule of three, what's easy to see is that we have 98.5% of homes that sold with a realtor and 1.5% that sold by himself. So on 100% of all the homes that are sold, your project becomes very, very clear that if ever you need to sell and make it good, well, you would be better off working off with a real estate agent. But again, it's something that's very personal to all the individuals. Okay, so in conclusion, my name is Jonathan Cabana, your real estate agent for the Greater Montreal. We've seen today the real estate update for the month of September 2024. And if you ever have to move in 9 days or 90 days and you would like to have our help, all the information is in the description. You can reach us, even take an appointment in my calendar, just so we can ask ourselves a couple of questions to see how I can possibly help out. In the meantime, do have a beautiful day. Do take care and talk to you soon.